All right, West Virginia fans. Shorthanded Mountaineers dropped back-to-back matches. It was a tough weekend for the West Virginia wrestling team, who, as I mentioned, were coming into this one limping a little bit with a lot of injuries coming into this one. So they ultimately fall to 5-2 on the season. On tonight's episode, we'll break down the matches between North Carolina and Oklahoma State and where the Mountaineers go from here. Before we do that, if you're a West Virginia fan, please remember to like and subscribe to JerseyEER. We do West Virginia wrestling videos, football, basketball, and we talk a lot of college sports. So we appreciate all the support. So if you haven't done so yet, please like and subscribe to the show. With that being said, let's get into this past weekend. So to start off, West Virginia came into this one missing two of their key starters. Louis Gill was in for Jet Strickenberger at 125, and then Lee Contino filled in for Brody Connolly. So not having Strickenberger definitely affected the team, in my opinion, because Strickenberger is a guy that is a spark plug to the team. He wrestles with a lot of passion, and he's a guy that gets the ball rolling for the West Virginia Mountaineers at that starting weight class of 125. Most dual meets this year have started at 125, and I feel like he just brings a lot of energy and can energize the lineup. So not having him was tough for West Virginia out of the gates. And then Lee Contino wrestled pretty well and got a win for West Virginia, but not having Brody Connolly in there too is tough, because you're talking about probably your second or third best wrestlers on the team. So not having them in a dual meet versus a good North Carolina team definitely hurt out of the gate for West Virginia. So let's break down this match between the two teams. So West Virginia only won 2 matches in this dual meet. They won with Ty Waters, who won 6-3 over Laird Root. Waters is the number 1 ranked guy in the country. Had a pretty close match though with this one, right? West Virginia was probably hoping to get some bonus points out of this one. Anytime you see a guy with a number 1 next to his name versus a number 33, you're going to assume there's going to be bonus points. So Waters does what he has to do to get a win here, but didn't probably wrestle his best match and wasn't able to open it up probably as much as he wanted to and how much he usually does. So no bonus points there. And then Lee Contino, like I said, comes in. He's a guy coming over from Buchanan, California, which is a solid high school wrestling program. My high school actually wrestled them back in the day at Virginia Duels back in the day. Some just wild matches when we wrestled them. But he gets a win in his debut. He looked good. He got the 10-0 major decision. But after that, not much going for the West Virginia Mountaineers in this one. Lost a lot of tough matches down low, a lot of toss-up matches that really swayed this one early. Gunnar Andrick lost a really tough one versus Ethan Oakley. Those two seem to be very even coming into this one, but he just got edged out in that one. Jordan Titus is a guy that has battled a lot this season and has had so many close matches, but is just having a tough time getting over that hump and getting into the win column. And he had a chance to get a win over Simcox, who was a ranked 19th in the country at the time. And Titus was there. He was in on a few things and was in good position, but couldn't finish it. And then he ultimately takes the loss. And then Willie McDougall wrestled in this one and was ahead early, but you were a little nervous watching Willie wrestle because he was kind of limping around there and just didn't seem like his healthy self. He's a guy that's been in and out of the lineup this year with battling some injuries, so he didn't wrestle versus Oklahoma State this weekend either. So a little concerning for him to just not be healthy and drop another close match for him. And then Sean Taylor getting pinned by Bryce Hepner was the dagger that pretty much broke the match open for North Carolina, and the writing was on the wall at that point. So when you don't get bonus points where you think you're going to get bonus points, when you lose all the toss-ups down low, and then you give up a fall in a college wrestling match, it's going to be hard to come back from. And West Virginia, too much didn't go their way in this one to get the victory. And I think, again, it might just go back to Strickenberger being out of the lineup. You don't want to make excuses or anything like that, because ultimately it's an individual sport, and West Virginia didn't do enough to get a win here. But I do think that wrestling in a dual meet, momentum swings are real. even though it's an individual sport. So when you see the guy in front of you doing well and energizing the crowd, and it's just like a chain reaction that occurs. So West Virginia really wasn't able to stop the bleeding too much in this match, and it showed. And I know Coach Flynn wasn't too happy with how they wrestled in this one. And then even up top, you lost a bunch of close matches and just were unable to win those close matches. So tough road trip to North Carolina. I was pretty shocked by the score. I thought West Virginia was going to be favored going into this one. I didn't know they'd be at without their two top wrestlers, but even with the two top wrestlers, based on the way they wrestled, it wouldn't have got the job done on Friday night. So it was definitely a disappointing performance from a team that I had high hopes for. But it's one dual meet; you can't let it linger, and there's still a lot of matches and bouts to complete the season. And then on on Sunday they wrestled Oklahoma State, and there was a lot of matches that we were all looking forward to watching. And when West Virginia released their potential starting lineup, it was missing a bunch of key guys. So we mentioned Willie McDougal's been banged up and has not looked healthy much of this season, so they decided to pull him. He didn't wrestle. The surprising one was Ty Edwards didn't wrestle this weekend. Like I said, he only won 6-3 on Friday, so probably not his best performance. So he was a late scratch in this one, and he was supposed to wrestle the number 2 ranked wrestler in the country for Oklahoma State. So that match didn't happen today, but it will happen moving forward at the Big 12 championship. So I know some Oklahoma State fans were not happy that he didn't wrestle that one, and I get it, but they're gonna meet again anyway in a few months when they do the Big 12. So that matchup will happen. It should be a really outstanding match. It just didn't happen today. And then Sean Taylor is back in the lineup. Lee Contino is in for Brody Connolly, as we mentioned, and then Ian Bush, Rune Lawrence, and then they have a new heavyweight in this time with Wilson Spries. So again, 4 of your starters are out of the lineup, and when you wrestle a team like Oklahoma State, you cannot afford to have 4 starters out against Oklahoma State. It's not going to end up too well for you. I mean, if West Virginia even had their entire starting lineup, they probably don't win this match. I mean, Oklahoma State is ranked 5th in the country, and they are really, really strong wrestling program. They're one of the best premier wrestling programs in the country. So it was an uphill battle either way. But once you didn't have your 4 starters and a 10-person lineup, it's just going to be a tough day. And that's exactly what it was for West Virginia in this one. So they get their lone win. Gunnar Andrick gets a really nice win over Ronnie Ramirez, 4-2. So we mentioned Andrick a bunch recently. He's a West Virginia native, and he actually mentioned that in his uh, post game interview right off the mat. So he was excited. He had a lot of people in the stands from West Virginia. But then, other than that, West Virginia just wasn't able to get anything going. Again, Jordan Titus was in this one, competed really, really hard versus Sergio Vega, who's ranked number 2 in the country. Got into a scramble, but just lost the scramble at the end and lost the match 5-1. TJ Langley battled, but lost 8-4. Cole Evans went against Landon Rabadeu, who's ranked number 2. So, like we said, Ty Waters and him will be on the collision course for the Big 12 final, in my opinion. So that was a tech fall. Sean Taylor lost a tough one, 5-2. Lee Contino this time faced the number 7 guy in the country and got tech falled. Ian Bush lost a really tough one between 2 wrestlers that are ranked in the top 20. Rune Lawrence continues to battle, but came up short 2-1. And then Wilson Spries lost by fall to the number 8 heavyweight in the country. And then Jet Strickenberger was back in the lineup today, but ultimately lost 6-2 versus Troy Spratley. These two have a rivalry going. I think Spratley now evens up the all-time record to 2-2. They will meet again at the Big 12 championship. It wouldn't surprise me if they met at NCAAs, just based on how high quality these guys are. They're ranked 8th and 9th in the country, so they'll be battling for All-American status versus each other. So again, just a tough day for West Virginia. It's a shame because I had this as one of my top 5 matches to watch this season. Not that I thought that we could win this one, but I thought it would have been a good measuring stick for West Virginia against a really, really solid opponent and a chance to see some good individual bouts. There still were, but just not having your full lineup kind of lost its excitement before it even began here in this one. So up next for West Virginia is going to be Arizona State at the Desert Financial Arena in Tempe, Arizona. This match doesn't happen until January 9th. So you're talking about 3 weeks away, which I think is a good thing for the West Virginia Mountaineers, if I'm being honest. As we mentioned, and the theme of the show, shorthanded Mountaineer team. That's because of injuries. So this team needs to get healthy. Hopefully they can use this time to rest up, enjoy the holidays, keep training, and get their mind right for the second half of the season. So there's a lot of big dual meets that are going to be coming up. A lot of them are going to be toss-ups. And it's a chance for West Virginia to really regroup here before the grueling second part of the season. Wrestling's a very tough sport, between the weight cutting and between the mental mind games that take place between the wins and losses. In college Division I wrestling, every kid's like a state champ or multiple time state champ. So there are no easy bouts, and it's just a grueling sport. So good luck to the wrestling team. Like I said, this will probably be the last wrestling video we do for the next 3 weeks, obviously, because they don't have anything going on. So I appreciate everyone that's subscribed to the show. For JerseyEER, we appreciate it. Have a great rest of your night. We'll talk to you guys soon. Let's go Mountaineers. Have a great night.